Hello everybody, it's Stephen and Walter here for another episode of So Chatty, episode number 119. Do you realize 119, we usually do one a week with a few exceptions. That's 52 weeks in a year. That's 104. We've done 119. We've done this for over 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, don't sound so enthused. Really. If it wasn't for So Chatty, you wouldn't have any fans who think you're so dreamy. Of course. Who knows what drugs they're on. Anyways, it's October 27th, 2023, end of the month. Halloween's next week. What are you going as? This?
Mr. Magoo.
Oh, you're going to put on your glasses. Well, that'll work. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, you've seen this already before, but I've added a few pieces to it. It's my kitties. It's the Scrappy Cat quilt that you all picked for me to do for the 4S collab. I've gotten a few more kitties done. What have I got now? I've got 10, 14 kitties done. I've got 9 more to go. But you'll notice I was getting a little tired of the sort of the mottled colors and that, so I decided to use some prints. And I've got some other colored prints too, just to break it up. Now, this isn't the layout. This is not how it's going to look when it's done. They're staggered in the pattern, and there's sashing pieces and things like that. But I'm just working on the blocks, and every other one I need to rip out something because I get a piece turned upside down. And it's amazing how you can turn a piece of fabric upside down when you're moving it just from your pressing mat to the sewing machine, a matter of a foot. And then you turn it. And then I go, crap. So, but anyways, yeah. Am I enjoying this quilt? Not as much as I thought I was going to. Walter's looking for a mistake. He's sitting here staring at it. He's trying to find one. But there isn't. Because I've double checked and triple checked. And if you find one, then I'm going to have to kill you. Okay, moving on before he decides there's something wrong with it. And you've seen this one, but it's I don't know if I showed it to you once it had been quilted. It is now quilted. I just did it on the domestic machine. I did a little free motion meandering in the white blocks in the center, and then just walking foot, wavy lines kind of a thing. And it's all done, and I think it's kind of pretty. Well, it's K-facet fabrics for one thing, but I think it's kind of cute. It's in my basket of, where are my table runners going to go? And speaking of which, I just stuffed all of my quilts that were sitting out in Lucy's room in great big huge storage things. They're not plastic, don't worry, they're fabric. And they're dandy. So on Tuesday next week on Idiot Quilter, I'll be talking more about those. But I just ordered another set of them because they're not that expensive. You got 6 for $35, $36 on Amazon. Canadian, of course. For Americans, it was like $19.99 for the same thing. So, yeah, go figure that one. That's not just the difference in exchange rate. That's
shipping cost,
I guess. So, probably whatever. So, who knows? But anyways, I'll talk more about that on the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. Walter does have something to show you, but not yet. We're coming to that. But how are you coming with our retro shirts?
What's working on it. I'm getting there. I'm not getting very far. I was going to start doing it again today, but
well,
I think I'll end up staying home and working on them tomorrow. So.
Oh, for the pop-up sew day?
Yeah.
Oh, we will be blessed with Walter's presence. Not too early, of course, but yeah. So that leads me right into announcements, of course. Stephanie and Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen is always on Wednesdays, starting at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everybody knows that routine. Links in the show notes. Pop-up sew day. And those of you on the mailing list already got all that information about it. The rest of you... Well, one, why are you not on the mailing list? Easy to get on it. Just send me an email. My email address is in the About section. Okay. I think I even have now embedded a link to take you there, if it works. I say that because sometimes on YouTube, things that work one day don't work on another day. Haven't figured that one out yet, why that is. But whatever. And I'll put you on the mailing list. But if you're not on the mailing list and you don't want to be on the mailing list, why should I let you into the pop-up sew day? That would be insulting. No, the link is in the show notes for that. And that's tomorrow, Saturday, at the time of recording of this, October the 28th, starting at 8 a.m., running until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Depends on how bored I get with everybody else. And yeah, all are welcome. Do whatever you want to do. It's easy. It's simple. You've been there before. Okay, and I'm trying something new. So for those of you that are of the female persuasion, it's not for you. It's a men's only club, men's sew day. So I'm just putting it out there for any gentlemen who sew, who might catch this video. If you would be interested in doing a sew day, maybe right now I'm thinking once a month with just guys, no women allowed. Nope, it's a safe zone, guys. Here, you can come on and bitch about whatever you want to bitch about. Yeah, and that'll run. The first one we're going to have is on November the 5th. That's a week from this Sunday. And it'll start at about 8 o'clock in the morning, run till about 3 in the afternoon because, well, I have to end at 3 o'clock because at 4 o'clock we do live on Sundays. My idea here is, we'll see how this works out, the first one. And I'll be talking to the people that do join in. And I've had a fair number, not a huge crowd, which I wasn't expecting a huge crowd, but I've had a number of people who have said they are definitely interested in it and are bringing some friends along too. And that's great. And we'll talk then whether, once a month on a Sunday, is that a good time for everybody? It's a good time for me because I'm busy all the other time. And I don't want a men's sew day to interfere with a pop-up sew day, and they're always on a Saturday when I have them. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. So stay tuned. But if you are a gentleman or you know a gentleman that might be interested in this, then pass the information on to them, please, and tell them all they need to do is send me an email with their name and their contact information, as in their email address, which should be in their header, but sometimes people use a different one. Don't I know that from the retreat? And I'll add them to the mailing list and send them the preliminary information. Okay, so you saw in the title, the clickbait here, Christmas gifts. Got them ready. Yeah, it is the end of October. And I don't know about you, but I've been thinking about Christmas all year round, kind of a thing, because I make a lot of stuff for Christmas time. But most people start to panic after not Thanksgiving, but after Halloween. And the stores are already putting out their Christmas decorations. There's the Halloween stuff right next to Christmas. It's the nightmare before Christmas, I guess. And then people are trying to figure out, well, what am I going to make? And everybody likes to make something at Christmas, right? Those of us that are quilters and sewers and that's up our alley. We want to do those kind of things. But what I'd like to know is, when do you get started? Now, I start planning in about the summer. I start thinking about it. And also, if some quilt stores get Christmas fabric out in the summer, it's not necessarily the newest stuff, but, to be honest, do you ever see anything too new and exciting at Christmas? Same old thing. It's got Santa, it's got red, it's got green. Some of it is blue.
Well, some of it looks kind of crappy, but
yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Christmas fabric, right? I mean, I suppose the good thing is you can stock up on it when it goes on sale, if it goes on sale, at the end of the season or whatever, and just throw it in your stash drawer. Because the thing about Christmas fabric is,
from year to year, it doesn't
always
vary that much.
No. So, you might as well get it when it's cheap, kind of a thing. And then I try and decide who I'm going to make gifts for and who I feel would appreciate it. And that list is kind of getting small. Really small. What do I mean by that? Well, my nephew and niece already have a quilt, each. I don't even know if they really
use
care.
it because you know your sister.
Yeah, my sister, nope. I've offered her a quilt flat out, no, not interested. Her excuse is she has no place to store it. Well, it's a quilt. You put it on your bed, or you fold it up and put it at the foot of your bed, or you hang it over the back of a chair somewhere. You don't throw it in the back of a closet. I mean, forget it. Bring your quilts out of the closet. It's the National Quilt Coming Out Day. That always kind of annoys me when she says that. I don't say that about her cross-stitching. Her cross-stitching is beautiful. She has given me several pieces over the years, and I have appreciated each one. And each one of those is not sitting in the back of a closet. They're in a prominent place on display in my house, and I point them out to people that come over and say, my sister did that. Kind of thing. And they always go, ooh, ah, kind of a thing. So I don't know. Last Christmas, I gave a lot of quilts away. I gave one to Walter's sister and her husband. I gave one to his nephew and his nephew's wife. I gave two actually to his niece, Karen, because I gave her one for Freddie the dog, her dog. Mm-hmm. And it was the ugly quilt. You remember the ugly quilt, the one from Tula Pink Flannels, which I found out later was ironic because she actually designed that pattern around ugly Christmas sweaters, and she said it's ugly. She did it on purpose. I didn't know she did it on purpose. I just found it ugly. Anyways, I thought that'd be the dog's blanket. Apparently, she didn't know which one was the ugly one. I guess is that a compliment or is that an insult? I don't know. So anyways, I don't know if the poor dog got a quilt at all with it. So there was a whole bunch that I had. I made things.
I have a feeling the dog probably got both quilts, so.
Yeah, well.
I think the dog doesn't really have a bed. I think the dog just lays wherever
it wants to lay. Yeah. Well, it keeps the doggy warm. That's okay. And of course I made things for his nephew's girls, our great nieces, I guess you would say. And I forget what I made them, but I made them a bunch of little things. Stuffed them in a sock. I made the sock too, and everything like that. And so I was making a lot of stuff. And then on top of that, I was making things for all the ladies that work at Ultimate Sewing, because I always give them something. I went a little overboard last year on that stuff. I'm not doing that this year, mainly because I've spent a lot of my time putting stuff together for the retreat in December as gifts. And they're all sewers too. They're all quilters, although they all kind of complain all the time that they never have any chance to do any of their own stuff. But, giving that's another good question. Is it appropriate to give a quilter a quilt? Are you insulting a quilter when you do that? Like, you're saying, oh yes, I know you quilt, but mine are better here. We had a friend who, before we ever got into sewing, quilting, garment making, anything like that, that gave us a quilt, a small quilt, a throw, as a wedding gift for us. And at the time of getting it, I kind of poo-pahed it, not to her face, but I went, oh, look, we got this. Isn't this nice? Okay. And it has sat on a shelf since then. That was like 18 years ago. When I got into quilting, though, I pulled it out and I started to look at it a little bit more closely. And actually, it's a very nice quilt, and I think she hand quilted it too. So there was a lot of work put into that. And I feel very much ashamed that I did not, at the time of getting it, really appreciate it for what it was or what it is. But to give another quilter a quilt, I don't know, something about that. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe if it's a style that they don't usually make, and they sort of like, I
suppose if they don't usually make it, they don't like that style. I don't know. It's an interesting question, though. How many of you give quilts to people who quilt? I don't know. So anyways,
Maybe a quilter that only makes baby quilts, and they say, "Well, I never make queen size." So, and they happen to see a pattern that they like in queen size, and they say, "Oh, well, I would never make that." And then somebody makes them a queen size one in that pattern. So,
I suppose, but it would depend on how they would say that. If they say, yeah, I'd never make that, meaning I don't like
well, no,
that.
I'd like that
Or if
for
they
my
just,
bed, but I wouldn't make it myself because it's too
yeah,
big.
okay, that might be a different scenario if you hit one like that. I would also think that a quilter would be maybe a little bit, I don't know, shy about or embarrassed about or to suggest to another quilter that they would like this quilt, you make it.
Oh,
Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a very complex thing when you really think about it. So I guess you just don't think about it. And of course, the neighbors next door, I gave them a quilt, didn't I?
Might have, yeah.
I think I did last year. I kept ramping it up every
Mm.
year. I started with like napkins, moved the way to placemats, table runners, and I think last year they got a quilt. And we have to stop that because I think they then feel obligated to give us something nice, and they don't need to feel obligated because we don't expect it. We said to them too, I've said to them before, if you ever are looking for a quilt that you want or you want to give as a gift to somebody, speak to me. I've got a wide selection. You know, I'd give them one. If for that, that would be fine. Clear out my stash. I got to give them away. That was what I was going to do this year, wasn't I? I was going to do these quilts. I was going to go and give them all to Project Life, or Project Life. I always call it Project Life. That comes from my
Linus.
scrapbooking days. Project Linus, yeah, kind of thing. Guess how many I gave away? None. Never got around to it. Keep saying I should. Well, now I'm
Well,
trying.
you did give the quilt to Valor.
Well, I did. Yeah, I gave the Quilt of Valor one, and I've got a sort of another one started, but I haven't gotten too far with it. I've only got a few blocks, and I'm experimenting with blocks for it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it is. I thought about this the other day when I was putting all these quilts into those big tote things that I've got, and I'm thinking I've been doing on Idiot Quilter every week a little like trunk show as I go through my quilts, and so I'm going to have quite a few more of those to go through. But I was thinking, maybe one of the reasons I don't give a quilt to somebody is because of what I just said about getting a quilt when I didn't know about quilting. I don't want to just give it to somebody and they look at it and go, "Oh, that's so nice, thank you," and then it rots somewhere. Um, Also, you don't know if people's tastes. Like my sister, it's all about everything coordinating in her house. I think that's why she doesn't want a quilt. She doesn't feel that it'll coordinate with her house. I mean, I offered to make her a quilt, the colors of her choice, whatever she wants, which might be dangerous after that table runner that we did for her that took us forever to find the right fabric. I don't know. What do other people think? Do you hesitate to give somebody a quilt? Or do you say, the hell with it? I'm giving this to you. Do with it what you want. It's not mine anymore. It's yours. If you want the dog to lay on, the dog can lay on it. Whatever. I don't know. So, at Christmas time, though, we're thinking about these things, right? And I was going through my head, well, what can I do? What can I give to people? And you also have to look at your time element. How much time do you have? Expense. Making. A lot of people think a homemade gift is cheap. Like you're giving them a gift that you made so it didn't cost you anything. Well, those are obviously people who don't sew, quilt, or anything else because fabric isn't cheap, as we well know, and neither is your time. So what do you make? Okay, well, we're going to come to that idea and where do you get your ideas from? And does this bring a lot of joy to you to make things for other people, especially at Christmas time, or does it put pressure on you? I mean, I think the Christmas time is the worst time of the year for suicides because people go nutso. Quilters would just strangle themselves with a quilt, or they'd be hanging from the ceiling around with a table runner around their neck or something. I don't know. uh, kind of thing. Do you feel pressure
But
for Christmas time for making lovely gifts? Because you
no,
make
I don't. I just make the bags, and
yes, we're coming to your bag with that.
I don't. You're Mr. Christmas, so
No, I'm
you're
not.
Santa.
Christmas. Yeah, and you're Mrs. Claus, and they're out most of the time. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it does it. You know what the pressure is? It's not the pressure of time, I think, that gets people. I think it's the pressure of, will this person appreciate what I've done? Or is this something they will just, oh, that's lovely, and throw it on the table with the other boxes of chocolates and stupid ornaments that people have given us, kind of a thing. Um, Now, are there people you wouldn't make something for? I know that there are people that I know that I would not consider putting the time and effort into making a quilt or even a table runner or set of napkins for, because I know that they don't appreciate it. But they're the same people that when I used to do scrapbooking and card making, I wouldn't give them a handmade card because they were not card worthy. I'd just give them one from the dollar store.
Mm.
I mean, we're going to a lot of effort for this party we're going to in the next couple of weeks. I mean, you're making those special retro shirts to fit the theme of the party, which is the 60s.
I want to make a bag. I need to use your embroidery machine for that.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, Walter's embroidery machine's still in the shop, from that little accident where he sat on it. Yeah. And I don't know. I've got a feeling that thing could be in the shop for a while. Because who knows? It's been a week? No, it's been more than a week. Has it been 2 weeks?
No, I don't think it's been 2 weeks.
No,
I
we
think
took
it's
it
been
in.
a week.
When did we take it in?
I don't know.
Well, whatever. Well,
last Thursday, I think.
Was that all it was? Feels
Yeah.
longer. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, Walter makes. Now, what does Walter make? Show them.
Well, I'll make these bags, and I'll make Christmas bags or specialty bags, or like this.
Yeah. Embroidered
It's got a
front.
pocket on the outside, and embroidery on both sides. Pretty simple, but
Well, they're time consuming, though.
they are time consuming.
In fact, what was it last year? You made what, 4 bags for the neighbors because
Yeah.
they kind of commissioned Walter May of that year, a year ago. Said about making bags, and of course he said, well, they'd pay for it. And I said to him, you can't afford one of his bags. And they kind of looked at me, and I said, no, seriously, we'll just give them to you. Because, I mean, a bag like that, hold your bag back up. That sounds rude. Yeah. Okay. A bag like this, and this is a substantial bag. This is not flimsy. You have it lined,
I have it lined.
and you have it supported. Yeah, like it's got, what have you got in there? You've got like Deco Bond or something.
I got Deco Bond, and I've got what else do I?
Well, there's interfacing.
Interfacing, and there's what do you call it? Pollen interfacing, and I mean, it's got, how much fabric do I have? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd say 6 fat quarters in there.
Well, that's pricey there.
Yeah.
And then you spend the time doing this very nice decorative trim.
Yeah, which takes a fair
Yeah.
bit. And I mean, the decorative trim isn't that hard to do, but the embroidery takes a little while to do. So, yeah, and it's kind of time consuming
Well,
to make. So
I would say a bag like that, if you were to try and sell it, I don't think you should take anything less than $75 for it.
yeah, and even then, like, I mean,
That's a bargain.
Yeah, $75. Yeah.
So, yeah, so people just don't realize it. We've had this discussion many times before, and those of us that have been quilting for a while, we know that. We know that. So it's better to give it. But it's just that sometimes you would like people to appreciate the fact that not only did you put some thought and time into it, but you put some money into it as well. So, it's not a cheap gift, anything that you make. So, people who don't appreciate that, don't waste your time giving them something like that. Buy them something at Walmart. Get them a nice box of chocolates. Maybe not the ones from Walmart. They're not that nice. but whatever, Russell Stover or whatever those are. I don't know. Of course, now I'll get hate mail because it'll be people, I love Russell Stover. They're absolutely delicious. Why, every Christmas, Grandma used to get us a 12-gallon drum of chocolates from Russell Stover. We just buried our thighs in them. They were delicious. Well, bully for you. Okay. So basically, the other thing is, too, about, do you waste your talents, your creative talents on somebody who doesn't really have any concept of what those might be or what that's like? I say no. So, where do you get your inspiration? I keep a list of what I've made previous years so I don't duplicate it and give them the same thing again. Because, there's always somebody in somebody's family, right? At Christmas time, oh, God, Great Aunt Gladys. Oh, she's going to give us a box of chocolates and a kerchief. Every year, a box of chocolates and a kerchief. What is this, 1950? Like, every year, those type. And who wants to be labeled with that? But trying to keep people interested and say, ooh, I wonder what they got me this year. Ooh, that's not easy to do. So I found some spots where you can look for things like this. Now, you probably know this, but I also not sure if you do, because the number of people that ask me questions that I would like to say, you can Google that, and they don't. So let me just, speaking of Google and YouTube, YouTube is really a good place. I go there first for everything, really. But here, for example, all I did was I put in sewing Christmas gift ideas for 2023, and this is what came up. I didn't plant these or anything. This is what came up. Gifts to sew. 10 plus easy gifts made this Christmas. 7 more sewable Christmas gifts for friends and family. Sewing Christmas gifts for friends. Useful gifts to sew. Gift ideas to sew. Christmas sewing ideas. Sew your own Christmas gifts and decorations. I mean, there's tons of this stuff there. Now, the thing is, some of these are tried and true kind of things, another tote bag. And when I say another tote bag, I don't mean Walter's type of tote bag. I mean, there's always people who rattle off about 20 bags that are not lined. They basically, you fold a piece of fabric in half, you sew up the seams on either side, stick a piece of pre-made handle onto it, and call it a day. There, tote bag, wonderful. No, those are not tote bags, or those are not really worthy as gifts. Those are meant for going shopping with and putting your green peppers in. They're not like a substantial bag like what Walter's making, and what like a lot of other people make. Like, what are you doing? Checking your bag?
Yeah, I am.
What?
I was just seeing what I lined that with. I don't remember.
Fabric?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So anyways, you'll get lots of ideas here, but you may come across something you never thought of before. I usually do. The other thing you can go to is, yes, as I said, Google. I put in hand-sewn Christmas gifts for 2023. You can put in quilts, quilt things. You can put in all kinds of different terminology. Now, of course, you do have to watch it, because usually what Google comes up with first are advertisements for people selling stuff. So like, see the first 3 says sponsored, sponsored, sponsored. Those are advertisements. But then you get into Pinterest, and we've all been down the Pinterest rabbit trail, right? Where there's all kinds of like 900 plus best gifts for sew ideas in 2023. 510, 101, 15. All of these ones, lots and lots of stuff. Now, a lot of this stuff is kind of gitchy. Like, for example, look right here. See these little snowmen? I think they're supposed to be ornaments. Yeah, I wouldn't waste my time making something like that. But some people think those are really cute, and they're great, I suppose, if you've got the time and if they don't take too long to make, to, attach to a gift bag, a Christmas present, something like that. But one spot I found that I thought was really kind of interesting, and this was on this particular video, and everybody knows this person, I'm sure. This is from Quilt Addicts Anonymous. Been around for years on YouTube. One of the first YouTube channels I found when I was learning how to quilt. But she has a list of the things she talks about in this video. And some of them are old chestnuts, but some of them have other variations, like scrappy tree mug rug. Okay, mug rugs. Now I'm about to say something that I'm going to counteract to. I hate mug rugs. I think they're one of the most useless things anybody could ever give anybody. You give a mug rug when you can't think of anything else to give them, and you want to make it look like a nice handmade quilted project, but you don't want to make the whole bloody thing. Okay, having said that, I'm making mug rugs for the ladies at Ultimate Sewing. They're cute, but my mug rugs have a little pocket in the back of them. I'm going to fill the little pocket with some little goodies and things on it. But nevertheless, don't ever give me a mug rug. And I shouldn't say that because I have been gifted mug rug and they're very nice. I put them on display. I don't use them. I don't want to get them dirty. Ornament mug rug, okay. Double oven mitt. I'm not sure what a double oven mitt means.
It's those ones that are joined in the
in the center. And you go, well, that's a practical gift in a thing. Can you have too many oven mitts? Yeah, I think you can. But we have one pair and they're silicone. But might be okay. It's a bit of a sexist gift too. Are you going to give that to a man? No, you're going to give it to a woman. Get in that kitchen and make that turkey. Ghost of Christmas Past scrappy quilt pattern. Well, I don't know what that is. Something that she's selling maybe. Simple Christmas stocking, charm pack stocking, quilt as you go stocking. Okay, stockings. Great if there's kids. And I've made a few. You can make them as ornate as you want, or you can make them you can buy panels that have them already on the panel. You cut them out, you sew them up, they're done, kind of a thing. So, if you're giving something to kids, that's maybe kind of nice to, fill it full of stuff that'll rot their teeth. Why not? Okay, tree skirt. Quilt as you go tree skirt. Jelly roll tree skirt. All right, tree skirts. I've got one I haven't finished. It's an in the hoop embroidery pattern. I started it last year, and I haven't pulled it out since before Christmas last year. And to be honest, it is really nice, but it takes a long time. It's very elaborate. Something like that I don't think I'd be giving as a gift. Unless I started it a year in advance. And even then, and I did. And it wasn't for a gift anyways, for myself. But what I'm saying is, maybe sometimes we see these things and they look really great, but you're being a little overambitious, and that gives you pressure when you're doing something like that. And I also think it has to be for somebody really, really important in your life for that kind of thing. Quilting stencil, Christmas lights, quilting stencil, Christmas star, quilting stencil, holly. I don't know what those are, quilting stencils. Maybe they're talking about getting notions. Now this is not making something, this is buying something. A quilt as you go placemat. Oh yeah, placemats and table runners. Charm pack table runner. Always very, very popular. French seam pillowcase. Okay, if someone gave you a pillowcase as a gift, would you be excited?
No.
No. And I know there's a lot of people make pillowcases all year round. Now, there are organizations where they're donated and things like that. That's one thing. But I know there's a lot of people like to use the novelty fabrics, and they make pillowcases for their grandchildren. They got Superman on them or Spider-Man or whatever on that. I suppose they're fun with a kid. But if someone gave me a pillowcase as a Christmas present, that's almost right up there, I think, with socks and underwear. Yeah, that might be going too far. Unless these people asked, that they wanted it. Or maybe you do something really, really fancy, like what they call cut work. That lacy thing.
Well, who knows? Maybe some people are into that. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm not saying that it's a horrible thing to do. Just know your audience. I don't think you'd want to give a pillowcase to, teenage boy.
Unless they do something like they make a pillowcase and use it as a bag to hold a present or something.
Well,
That way, when they unwrap it, they also have a pillowcase.
Yeah, okay. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, that would be something. It's sort of a 2-for. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a 2-4 in a minute. But anyways, this is just a sample. You go on to onto YouTube, onto Google, onto Pinterest, onto Etsy. You're going to find all kinds of things as ideas, which may be springboard. So that's what I did. I used things, I looked through it, and I just let my brain go, and I brainstorm with myself about potential. These are not things I'm necessarily going to make. I've already planned my stuff this year, but I thought you might be interested. Okay, here's one. Now, I think this is a brilliant idea, and this is my own idea, but I'm sure somebody else has thought of this as well. What do we have a lot of as quilters and as sewers? What do you got a lot of? You're always bitching about you have so much of it.
Fabric.
Yeah. What kind of fabric?
Quilting fabric.
Yeah, but what form is it in? Yardage or
Yardage or scraps or fabric.
scraps? Get out of there. Scraps. We have tons of scraps. I have big baskets of scraps, which eventually I'll sort through and throw out because I won't know what to do with it. But I got thinking, sometimes your scraps are a fairly decent size, but you just don't have any idea what to do with it. Well, you could cut them into charm packs, customized charm packs for somebody. Now, this might be a good gift for another quilter or sewer. Think about it. If you know the person well, you know what their taste is, okay, what they like. So you could customize, going through your scraps, make a customized charm pack. Cutting 5-inch squares out of stuff is not hard. If you got an AccuQuilt, it's even easier and faster. Put a nice bow or ribbon on it. I think that would be a really nice gift for someone who is a sewer or a quilter, especially. And you could even write a little thing on it going, this charm pack, specially designed and curated for you or for whoever. You could do a lot of things with that kind of thing. You could make a mini charm pack. Their mini charm packs are the flavor of the month right now. I don't know what you do with them because they're small, 2.5-inch squares, but a lot of people are collecting them actually. People collect them now. If some of the fabric companies are coming out with charm packs or mini charm packs, 2-inch squares, that have a square of every one of the fabrics in a fabric line. And people are hanging on to them. Adam Sows was talking about this. He collects them all the time. He says he likes them on his shelf. He uses them as a decoration. He doesn't intend to sew with them. They're there just so he can, because they're pretty. So, there's a thought. And you could do that out of your scraps. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're making somebody a very thoughtful gift, and you're cleaning out your stash with it. Okay, so we talked about the mug rugs that I'm making. My mug rugs have a little pocket in the back of them. I'm going to throw in a seam ripper. I found some little cute cards that I printed out from a Google search. Actually, somebody was selling them for $1.45 for 10, and they've got nice little graphics on them and have cute little sayings for quilters and that. So I'm going to throw that in. I'm going to throw in a pen probably in that and whatnot. And I just ordered some, and they're supposed to arrive today, off of Amazon, some clear vinyl tote bags. They're not huge. Kind of like, if you ever bought a gift set of perfumes or ladies' cosmetics, and sometimes they'll put them in these little see-through little bags with, the vinyl handles and everything like that. Well, that's what they look like. They were not that expensive. I think you got 10 for $18 Canadian on Amazon. So that's why I'm going to put the ladies from Ultimate Sewing, I'm going to put all their stuff in. And I'm going to throw in some candy and some chocolate, too, in there and everything. And I thought the see-through bag makes it, you can throw in some, I could make some custom charm packs for them and cut down on my stash of it. Ooh, see how the mind works. What about personalized labels for quilts or for people who, not that you know a lot of them, but people who make garments sometimes like to put in a label in them. You could, if you've got an embroidery machine especially, you could make a lot of these fairly easily. you can, if you've got an embroidery machine, then you know wherever you buy your files and things from, they always have labels as well, which you can customize a little bit if you know how to use the editing software built into your machine, or if you've got editing software on your computer meant for embroidery pattern editing, you can make that. And the thing is, the reason why a lot of people don't label a quilt, and I'm guilty of this, is because they don't like making the label. It's not sewing the label in that gets them. It's the fact that by the time you get to the point where you should be putting a label in, you're so tired of the damn thing, you don't want to, you're just done with that. I don't want to do anything more. And they're always telling us we should be labeling our quilts and things. So, I mean, I think that would be a very nice gift especially for a quilter. Now, how about making, you saw Walter's bag. Show the red again. You notice Walter did a trim using decorative stitches on his embroidery machine. Well, that got me thinking, in this day and age, see, where, we have scraps, and we usually have scraps that are 2.5-inch strips. You've got the leftovers from a jelly roll, and half the time you don't know what you're going to do with those leftover strips, so you throw them into a box or a bin or a cupboard or something like that, and you forget all about them. Instead of buying ribbon for things, what you make some. This is just a short piece.
And I used, for my my border here, I used embroidery thread for the stitching. So it looks a little bit more like gold thread.
What I did with this was I took actually for this one, just for demo purposes, because you make them as long as you want to make them. I took a 2.5-inch jelly roll strip, which was sort of a Christmassy fabric. That's the white. It's hard to see on this camera. You can see the little design that's there. And I just folded it in half, and in between the two halves, I put in a piece of no-show mesh stabilizer. And you could use almost any kind of stabilizer. The reason you want stabilizer is because if you do a single layer of fabric and you're using fairly intense decorative stitches like I've used here, your fabric's going to pucker. But you see, think of this around a gift. Okay?
Yeah, people don't seem to know what to do with their decorative stitches on their machine.
No.
So.
Here's another one I made in 2 colors. They're trees. Now, you don't need to make them this wide. I did because I just want this for demo purposes, but you can make them any size you want. You can make them wider, you can make them smaller. If you buy some very thin wire, you can also make your own wired ribbon with it too, but that means it's going to be a little bit more involved, and I don't know if it's worth the effort. Edges on this, if you have a serger, and if you don't want want it to fray, I just use my serger, and the serger happened to have white thread in it at the time, so that's why it's very hard for you to even see the edge that's serged, but it is. But it won't unravel. But there's nothing saying you can use any color you want in your serger. You don't even have to serge the edges. You could leave. I saw a video where a lady was doing this. She was just taking yardage. She wasn't a sewer, but she had some old fabric laying around. She put a little slit in it, ripped it, a straight piece. She had ribbon. She didn't do any embellishment on it. It was just nice looking fabric, and it all frayed. And she wanted that look. In fact, she pulled a few strands out at the edge just to give it a little bit more of a frilly look. When she put it around a gift and tied a bow in it, it looked fantastic. It took her a minute to make a ribbon that way. But you can get as elaborate as you want. I could have used variegated thread. I could have used metallic, although sometimes you might have problems with metallic.
Yeah, what I used was embroidery thread that looks sort of metallic.
Like a sheen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of potential here. And if you've already got the strips, right? I knocked these off. It took a little bit of time, but I think to make 2 of them the length you're seeing here with this took me 30 minutes, 40 minutes, because these stitching take a little time to do. But I went very elaborate. You don't even have to be that elaborate. So, yeah. Now, take this and take a gift, and instead of using paper, on a gift. If it's, depending on the size of it, grab a fat quarter. We've all got all kinds of fat quarters, right? We've got fat quarters. I've got fat quarters coming out of the yin yang that I'm never going to probably use up over time, right? A lot of them are left over from those, if you get subscription boxes, you may get a lot of fat quarters in your subscription box and you don't necessarily use them all and they start to accumulate. Well, why not wrap a gift in them? I did that last year with 2 gifts for my sister's in-laws. And actually what I did was that I went one step further. I took those 2 fat quarters and I made them into table napkins. And then I used the table napkins as the wrapping for the gift as well. So there you go. You're giving them more than just what's in the box. You're giving them an additional, it's like they're getting a twofer kind of a thing. These are reusable. And they're washable. They're washable, reusable. So you got someone on your list who is concerned about the environment and the whole bit, and they're going, oh, at Christmas time, all that paper, killing trees. You can be proud to say, I wrapped your gift in fabric that you can reuse for something else somewhere down the road, and I made you reusable ribbon. I think this is clever. I would like to say that this is an original idea to me. It is not. I have seen this done on YouTube, but yeah. What else was on my list? Do you have any ideas? Anything you think? No, you're not that creative. You are, but you doesn't involve this kind of thing. Okay, table runners and napkin sets. Okay, yes, everybody knows about those. However, if you have an embroidery machine, you can do your own design on napkins. You can do your own thing. You can make them as elegant as possible. Now, this was a prototype. This is why it's sitting in a basket, because I didn't place my corner pieces. I put them in too far. They should have gone closer to the corner at the time that I made this one. I since made better ones, but that's why I'm showing you here. But then you say, yeah, but napkins need to be hemmed. If you've got a serger, easy peasy. But you can hem them still. I mean, hemming doesn't take that long to do it, but serger, really fast for that. And if you make a couple of sets of these are easy. All you have to do is, this is a double ply. I use double ply on the napkins. 2 pieces of fabric, wrong sides together. Zip them through your serger. If you've got really nice Christmassy fabric, it needs no more. You've already made the napkins. Use the same fabric to make a matching table runner. A simple table runner. It doesn't have to be really complicated, but it'll look thoughtful. You know why? Because it's a coordinated set. And don't people love coordinated sets of things? It shows you were really thinking when you did that, and it didn't take a lot of effort. Of course, then there's your Christmas tree ornaments or bag ornaments. You've seen these guys before that I've been making. They're freestanding lace. An embroidery machine at Christmas time is a good thing to have because there's a lot of things you can do with it for seasonal gifts and things. But these are fun. They take a little while, but they're not difficult. And people get so excited. But if you don't like gnomes, you don't have to do gnomes. You can do Christmas trees. You can do snowflakes. But I want to show you what's unique about these. These are Christmas cards. I was talking about 2 for 1? Okay. On these Christmas cards, and these were ones that we gave out one year. I don't know who we gave them to. But I put a little note inside down here, and it says, if you carefully peel the lace ornament from the card front, you will have a decoration for your Christmas tree or for Christmas gifts. So these I put on with a glue dot, and they just easily pull off, and they can use it for something else. So it's not a card. They can throw the rest of the card away. So that's no big deal. But this, they'll probably keep. But you want to jump it up a notch? The card with the ornament is a gift in itself. And in fact, double whammy. Yay, look. Another one on the inside. Two for the price of one. Again, done with an embroidery machine. But if you don't have an embroidery machine, you can still do a Christmas decoration. This would go on a card. This doesn't have to be sewn. There's no sewing involved in this. If you go to the Last Homely House from about 3-4 years ago, she has a tutorial on how to make these stars. And it's just basically strips of fabric that you fold and press in a certain way, and then they just get weaved. They're really easy to make. After you've made one, you can make hundreds of these in no time whatsoever. Everybody loves them. No sewing, no gluing. They all hold themselves together. You can put a little string in it if you want in the top, hang it from a Christmas tree, put it on a gift, put it on a card, stick it up your nose. You can do lots of things with it. Wear it in your hair. Last year, remember, you were wearing all kinds of them on your little head because they stick so well. Yeah, they look lovely. On your nose, look, fun. Yeah, see how much fun these are? Easy, easy, easy. I cannot give you the link to the video because I probably have a video. I think I did a video showing how to make them too from way back. I made my first one of these before I ever had a sewing machine. Yeah, so easy peasy to do. Do a search, Last Homely House, Christmas fabric stars, and I think you'll find it, okay? Don't ask me to find it for you. You got to do some of the work, okay? Remember I was telling you about the idea of making your own charm pack? Well, look what I've got right here. These are from Yardage. This was fabric that I bought. No, I'm lying to you. This actually was a commercially made charm pack. I can tell it's got pinked edges. I didn't pink my edges. But you get the idea, right? Take leftover Christmas fabric if you want to do a charm pack of Christmas stuff, or just whatever you got in your stash. But, yeah, I pulled out the wrong batch. I do have a batch that I cut myself using my AccuQuilt cutter. Let's pretend there's no pinked edges. You get the point. You get the point. But you see the ideas? There's lots of them. Quick, what are some of your ideas? Let's go down your list. Come on. Wrap them up.
I don't care about Christmas.
One more.
Bah, humbug.
Jeez. Why are you even on the show?
I don't know. I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh, why? You got something to say?
No.
Oh, right. What other things? Okay. Create. Okay, we've all got orphan blocks, right? Laying around because we weren't sure how something went together. And so we tried a test block, and that test block may have been made out of some scrap fabrics, but it was kind of pretty, but it wasn't going to go with the actual quilt you're trying it for. So you threw it into a box somewhere for a rainy day. Well, get it out, add a couple of border pieces to it, get a cheap frame it, home decor. You can put nice sayings next into it. You know, people do this on barns, right? They paint barn stars, right? Well, this is an indoor barn star that's made with fabric. Easy enough to do. Okay, you can also make your own package tags. I've done that before. Again, that's sort of an embroidery machine, but you can do it with your sewing machine too. You can... we've talked about Christmas tote bag. Oh, what about a piece of wall art? Okay, out of scraps. You know what a crazy quilt is, right? Where you use your decorative stitches along the seams, lines of, fabric that you've cut into little pieces and you've just put them all together random. You can make some very beautiful pieces. I've done some of them before, and they turn out, they're fun to do. They don't take a long time. And it's something unique. You put it in a nice frame. Don't break the bank, kind of a thing. And people will really think you have made them a nice customized gift and you really thought about it. And if the truth be known, you're just trying to get rid of your scraps. It works. Just don't give it to somebody who's a quilter because they'll know exactly what you did. And give it to somebody that's, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Like the blind lady down the road.
Yeah, right. Oh, I made you a gift, and it's beautiful. I wish you could see it. Oh, why does it feel wet and soggy? Never mind. It's texture. So what I'm saying is, give yourself 15 minutes, take a piece of paper on your computer, watch a few little videos or go through things like that, and the wheels will start to turn in your head, and you'll come up with all kinds of ideas that you never thought of before, which will be unique to you, and I am sure you have somebody on your list that would probably appreciate your creative talents for it. It doesn't have to be pressure. It can be fun to do this kind of stuff. There's hundreds of ideas out there. Walter, give me your top 25.
Bag, bag, bag.
He's a man about bags. Yes, it's all bags. What other things have you ever made that were good gifts?
Shirts.
Yeah, but I'm the only one that
Yeah.
wears a shirt.
I don't know. I don't make gifts. You do.
You should. Bad
Why?
humbug. I don't know. Grinch who stole Christmas. So, speaking of which, what are you going to get me for Christmas this year?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even get you either. Probably the same thing as I gave you last year. Nothing. No, wait. No, we did get gifts last year, didn't we?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, you bought me all kinds of AccuQuilt stuff.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It
Yeah.
almost got lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good Christmas. Yeah. I just got a catalog today with the AccuQuilt I've got. It's got all the guys in it. Maybe you should look at it. I don't know. Anyways, I hope that this may have stimulated ideas in your head if you're sitting there struggling and thinking about it all. That was the whole point of doing this. I was hoping Walter would contribute more to it, but he did. Bags, and more bags.
I don't make any of the Christmas cute stuff that you make.
It's not cute. It's practical and elegant. Yeah.
I'm not as dedicated to sewing as you are. Let's put it that way.
Oh, what do you do? Oh, yeah, you
Well, I
put up
put
a
a
garage door up.
door
I knew that was coming up. Stay tuned for live. You'll hear all about the 2-day garage door installation. Yes, that's exciting stuff then. Okay, enough is enough. Off we go off I go to work some more on more Christmas presents and other things as well. So, just a reminder, Pop-Up Sew Day tomorrow, Saturday, October the 28th, starting at 8 a.m. Come and go as you please, or whatever. And hopefully I'll see some of you then. And I'll probably get more ideas from things, because I always get ideas from people on Pop-Up Sew Days. And on Wednesdays, Sews with Stephanie and Steven. Okay, have a good weekend.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.